Welcome to another episode of the Shaken and Stirred Show. I'm Nigel Barker in New York. And guys, I am wearing, if you are watching the show, and obviously this is a podcast, and I've told you before, you can watch the Shaken and Stirred Show on YouTube. But for those of you who are just listening, I am wearing a t-shirt that I actually don't wear very often. It has MMC written on it, which is Million Meter Club. Yes, you heard it right, Million Meter. I'm now lifting my guns up and showing everyone who's watching, so you better bloody well tune in, my arm muscles, which is not bad for a 50-year-old man. And that is because I rode 1,000,000 meters last year. And a lot of you know that I'm into fitness. You know that I'm one of the founders of a gym called the Dog Pound. And I have one in New York, one in LA. And that I'm an avid rower, and I have been for years, ever since I was a small boy, growing up on the River Stour in England, in Dorset. And I've got something rather special for you today. I've got you a rather amazing couple who are going to talk about an extraordinary sort of, I want to say, it's a hybrid of machines, but it's bigger than that, and it's very exciting, and I love something new. And I want you guys to all hear about it. And you know that I take this sort of stuff very seriously. So these guys, they're a serious power couple, okay? Pun intended. They are the co-founders of LIT Method. Yeah, I want to know about that too, why it's called the LIT Method, because I thought that meant something completely different. The company behind the low-impact training workout designed to build bodies, not break them. Well, you know, I don't know about that. That's just also, I'm all about breaking my body down. Anyway, we're going to get into it with Justin and Taylor Norris. Hi guys, how you doing? And welcome to the Shaken and Stirred Show.
Hi Nigel. Thank you so much for having us. We're excited to be here.
Absolutely, really excited. So guys, we start this show, before we get into the fitness aspect of everything, I'm, like I just told everyone, I'm into my fitness, as everyone knows, but I also like a good drink. I'd love to know what you guys are drinking.
Oh, we love to drink as well. We've got a little tequila soda here. We keep it consistent.
We have to keep it consistent. As long as it's clear, it's probably fine. It's our thing.
Is that the thing? So why tequila and soda?
We call it jet fuel in our house. It's what propels us through the night. We want to make sure we have a ton of energy, and everything else makes us crash. Tequila keeps you going strong.
Keeps you going up.
And the soda just to water it down, or is to make it go last longer?
Taylor loves the carbonation. I can drink it straight, but she loves the carbonation. We're married, so she likes to.
I always win.
She always wins.
Do you have a favorite soda?
Oh, it's not really. It's LaCroix. Did I say that right? LaCroix, lime LaCroix.
LaCroix, however you want to say it. You know, when in Rome, Versace, Versace. We can do it either way. You know, I can work with you guys from California. I'm with you on this. So I've actually done that before. I do that occasionally too. You should also try Spindrift in there, which is another good one. They have a lot of fresh fruit in theirs as well. And guys, you know, it's funny because we drink a lot of tequila on the Shaken and Stirred Show. In fact, I would argue it's probably the number one drink drunk by my guests. Tequila is clearly very popular still. I have a lot of fashion people on, and tequila clearly seems to be, everyone is convinced, whether it's true or not, that there is a sort of dietary aspect to the sort of perhaps the low sugar or something, and skinny bullshit margaritas and everything else that everyone's trying to drink. Now I've got you guys adding soda water to your tequila, which, hey, you know, I can work with that. What tequila do you drink? Do you have a favorite go-to?
Casamigos.
Casamigos. There's another one called Dracones. That's really good, really good too. You can drink that one straight, but Casamigos for us.
You can drink that one straight. Sorry, Casamigos. On the other hand, you need to be mixed with water. Clearly, they're not looking for an endorsement from Casamigos, which I fully understand. It's a little bit too much vanilla in there for most people. I like them all. They all have their place. Casamigos is a great one. It's a go-to. And I love those guys. George Clooney, he's done a great job pushing that. You said Casa Dragones.
That one's good. I love that one. Yeah, I love that one.
Are you a Blanco, Reposado, Anejo?
Blanco.
Okay, guys, it's incredibly vanilla over there. I'm like just like the whole way. We're gonna have to mix this up a little bit and shake. I'm like, see, you're sweating now. I've got you sweating, and you haven't even started this interview. Look, I'm gonna say cheers. I decided to mix it up. I normally go with drinks similar to my guests, but today I thought, as you guys, let's just do cheers first of all. I made a Bramble, which is not a tequila drink at all, but I'm thinking health and fitness, and nothing says to me health and fitness more than berries, fresh berries, and I've got blackberries picked from my garden right here on top, rather fabulous. And you make this with a Chambord, which is like a raspberry blackcurrant liqueur, and then gin. 2 shots of gin. I used a fortified Old Gin Lane 1751 gin in here. And it has lemon juice rather, and some simple syrup. But instead of using simple syrup, I used agave, and not much, so I don't like it very sweet. Shaken, and you can top it off with some sparkling water if you like, if that tips the balance. And so it's very fancy, very delicious.
I need to spend more time with you because you are dialed in over there. I love it.
Oh yeah. This is no joke, man. And this is good. This is delicious. It's long. My wife loves this. And even if you say, oh, I don't like gin, I'm not a gin person. This is not your usual gin because of the fresh blackberries and all the sort of the syrupy Chambord and what have you. It's incredibly refreshing on a hot day. So there you go. And you can have one of these for lunch. How about that?
I love it.
It's great. It's perfect.
Okay. Now you two. Rowing. You created a machine that looks like a rowing machine that's got water in the front that sort of shoots around. People always ask me when I do my rowing, they go, "Oh, does that have water?" And I make no, it's not. It's a rowing machine not with water, and people have seen them. But you've done a sort of combined thing, a combined machine that has, bands, resistance bands on it, and you're sort of telling people out there in the world that this machine. It can sort of you don't need to use weights. It's kind of like everything that happens in one place, right, on this machine. Tell us a bit more about the actual machine itself.
Yeah, so the LIT Strength Machine is the world's only rower, reformer, and strength trainer. It performs 500 plus exercises. It has 8 different anchor points around the machine that you can use with different levels of resistance bands. The resistance bands go up to 100 pounds of resistance. It has adjustable water resistance from 10 to 40 pounds, and we're really built on versatility. Personally, both of us, we find that sitting on a rower, no offense to you in the Million Meter Club, but rowing over and over again is flat out boring. And so we wanted to do something that was creative and really switch things up. And we do that by rowing with strength training all on one machine.
We built it for each other. So I love Pilates. He loves the strength training aspect. So we built a machine all in one so we could do it together.
No. Well, I mean, obviously this is an adult show, so you can say things like that. But, I'm actually, I've always been a fan of rowing. I have tried Pilates with my wife, similar to you. I'm in one of those situations. My wife likes Pilates, and she's yoga, and I like rowing, and I like lifting weights. Hence, I, started a gym called the Dog Pound, which, is a lot of us do a lot. It's a boxing gym, which is what we created. But she doesn't like it there. She won't even go. I think she may have been to the Dog Pound twice ever. And once was just to take pictures, but it was, literally, I've tried to do the reformer, and I don't think I've ever been in more agony in my life than trying to do Pilates afterwards. I'm not coordinated enough or supple enough, but it's very good. Right, so I love the fact that the two of you have done the combination thing here. So how scary is it? Because I kind of looked online, it looks very cool, but it looks sort of, I'm wondering whether, someone like me, for example, what would you do with someone like me? I come into your studio, and again, you have studios, right? Is it just the one in Los Angeles, or do you have more?
That's our flagship studio. It's actually our filming studio. So we conduct live classes, 30 participants at any given moment, and we're taking that content in real time, broadcasting all through the US and Canada. So it makes for a very unique experience for the consumers in the class as well as for the users online.
Wow. He speaks fast, doesn't he?
So fast.
Hey, that's what everyone tells me.
He's a fast talker.
That's why we have tea.
Hopefully that's all that's fast. So when again, I love that answer, except for the fact I said, what happens when I come in? I understand when you walk in. So I come in a 50-year-old guy who's been working out, and he's like, okay, I know the rowing machine.
First of all,
you're not 50. Don't lie to me.
50. I'm
Are
50.
you?
I
Wow.
am. You look like you're 12 or something, right? So, and I was like, I wasn't sure. That's why he's growing the mustache. He has to do that, right? He shaves that off and he looks like he's 17 or something.
She's yelling at me to shave this beard. She's like, "You're going gray everywhere." I'm like, "All right, I'm shaving it for you. Okay, here we go."
It's a good move, by the way. If I let mine grow, I'm like a badger. So I do this early on. If I turn sideways, you can kind of see the gray. But it's shave it early on, and no one will ever know how old you are. There's a little secret there. I'm going to let you in on it.
I love it. For you personally, I think the best class for you would be the
Rowing time strength.
either the rowing time strength or the row and reform. You get the caloric burn of rowing, and then you combine that with the Pilates element. It's like a 10 on, 10 off kind of switch. It's one of our most popular classes on the platform, and I think that personally you would probably love it, especially if you're new to Pilates, you're not really sure about it. It's kind of combining the two modalities, and I find it one of my favorite classes as well.
Justin used to be a heavy lifter, so he used to lift a lot of heavy weights. He got super injured, so we created this machine to give him the strength that he wanted to use with workouts, but obviously had the caloric burn as well. So you would love it. Your wife would love it as well.
And let me tell you, it will kick your ass. It's so hard. Low impact. Don't get confused with low impact with low intensity. That's not what it is.
No. I'm sure, and I love a good hard workout, and actually. The harder they are for me, the more I kind of get into them, so I'm not someone who I like to be really, exhausted and thrashed. And I'm in the middle of doing a challenge with my friends right now. We do it on sort of over WhatsApp, but there's a bunch of us and we're lifting, it's 135 pounds on the bench press, but we have to do 100 reps. And it's the first one of us to get to 100 reps. We do it in 25 rep sets. With a 2 minute and 15-second break in between each one. Sounds easy enough, but for all of you out there who think, 135 pounds, that's not very heavy. Well, you're right. It's not a lot. In fact, it's just about the weight of my wife. But 25 times, the first time is one thing. Squeezing that second one at 25, but then you quickly collapse down, right? So it's like that fall off. But it's not huge weight. To your point, you don't have to lift really big weight to get really big impact. That's the part I'm trying to get to here. And I think I used to be one of those guys that would go to the gym and, and I wanted to lift 250 pounds if I could bench press. And even if I could only squeeze one out, it's not to say there's, anything wrong with doing a bit of that. But I think most of us have learned, and the older I've got, the more I've learned, actually, there's so much more to my mobility and to my overall physicality and strength when I lift much lighter weights, but they do it more often, right? And what is it? Why is that? Tell us about why that's the case.
And then you're really focusing, obviously, on your range of motion, contracting, and things like that. I was seeing so many people in the gym. I used to be a personal trainer. So I would go through that entire process. I would see people trying to deadlift 500 pounds, back squat, and their form's all screwed up, and their lower back's hurting, their shoulders are hurting. And so we just decided to change the way that people approach fitness. I actually suffered a life-threatening injury, cut my main artery, 4 tendons, multiple blood transfusions. I have a scar from the top of my wrist all the way down. Injured. I wanted to amputate my arm after 6 hours of surgery. So it has been a wild, wild ride, and I have massive muscle imbalances with that. Spent 18 months in physical therapy, still don't have full range of motion in my wrists. So I gave up the weights a long time ago.
So when you did that, you went like this, which looked like your hands were in cuffs. Is that what happened? What happened here? What were you doing exactly that you were in cuffs and you got very injured? Were you involved and there was no whips, I'm taking it?
Hey, I'm telling you, can't get full range of motion. If you look here, my finger.
He's just really
playing
injured.
Baseball, both
Okay,
knees.
what happened? What happened? So how did you get injured? As I want to know.
Hey, how did I get injured?
Yes.
For which injury?
Which one?
Well, you mean they weren't done at the same time?
No.
Okay, so and it's the same hand. Will you just keep on pushing your hand into things?
So injury prone. First one, piece of glass fell on me. The only way that it stopped was really went through basically all the way to the bone. It was really, really bad. The hard part was the recovery process for me. I was big in sports, love sports. Obviously, this one is from baseball. So it's just been kind of a recovery process for me. I'm very injury prone in general, though. She knows me. We have stairs in the house. All my friends listening, I've fallen down the stairs twice, completely sober. So this body gets broken a lot. I gotta focus.
He's a big guy. You can't tell he's 6'2", 195. So I'm like, yeah, he's very injury prone.
Really? No, you can't tell. I couldn't
Don't
tell.
make me. No, I'm just kidding.
I actually thought he looked rather small, actually, but I can say that.
My chair is higher because I'm really small, so and his chair is much lower.
That's what everyone says, and we're on Zoom, and then when you come meet us in person, we're like, holy shit. Okay.
Otherwise, I'd be down here.
No, I love to.
So that's you're 6'2" and 195 pounds, and what are you?
I'm 5'2", 120 pounds.
5'2" and 120 pounds. So I love this. 5'2" meets 6'2". So
5'2".
I that in itself is that's not easy right there. But heck, you guys have a great story. So everyone out there, you're probably wondering, like, I've had we have all kinds of guests on the show, but I don't often have people on the show often have couples. First of all, we've had a few. But certainly not your story is a bit more unusual, but I liked it for many reasons because of who you are, how you got together, what you've done, how you're both, I have had a lot of entrepreneurs on the show and we talk about that. And I want to get into that with you because the business behind it, because I think that's very interesting for people. But I think take us back before we kind of get into it, because everyone now knows you've created this very cool machine, this Lit Strength machine that's a combination of a reformer and a rowing machine, and it's got bands, it's all this crazy stuff, and you've got to go check it out on their Instagram, Lit Method. You can really see pictures of it, and we'll be posting about it too on Shaken and Stirred Instagram and what have you. And they've got a great story, but let's take us back, because you guys met in an interesting way, and your history, your actual sort of background is not necessarily all in fitness, is it? One of you went to Parsons and studied design. Which one of you was that?
Me.
You went to Parsons. So you're looking at him like, why would he go to Parsons? No, he's just too busy cutting his hands and not catching balls. I mean, quite frankly, I like my trainers to be able to catch the ball. You know what I mean? I'm like, what's that?
Yeah, no, you don't want him doing the design. Yeah, so my background is in the design. So I do all the product design for the company, the branding. And we met 10 years ago, so almost a decade ago, at a small gym in Beverly Hills.
She got me the first day I moved to Los Angeles. She got me right when I walked through the door, Nigel. She got me. He
wasn't from here. I could tell. I was like, "Yep, let's go."
But you liked him the moment you fell for him the moment you saw him.
Yeah.
So Taylor's pretty aggressive when she wants something. She's
a very direct person.
Very direct.
Tell you how it is.
She's like, "Hey, you want to go on a run sometime, or you want to go out sometime?" I was like, "Whoa, is this what LA's like? Because this is new. This is great."
And I've got to say, no one's ever tried to pick me up with, "Do you want to go for a run sometime?"
We're at the gym, so we're setting the scene, okay, Nigel?
Come to find out, she's like, "I hate running. I don't like doing anything like that." And I'm like, "Damn, you just went for it."
Yeah,
well, not to mention at 5'2" against 6'2", asking to go for a run with someone, your whole pace is that's a whole pacing issue right there.
I was like a light walk.
You hated running. He was like he was just running normal strides, and you were having to do like sprinting just to keep up with the normal strength of it. I love it. It's hilarious. What a great first date. You're both completely exhausted, and all you can see is his waist. It's brilliant.
Hey, and then from day one, I think in 10 years we haven't been separated since. Started working together right after that. It was just we moved into with each other.
He turned me personal trainer, so I became certified. I was working underneath him, and I was training the wives. He was training the husbands. We created this personal training business together. He already had an established personal training business, and then I was like, we need to expand.
We were doing about 80 hours a week, 7 days a week. We had, a waiting list to come in and train with us. It was different than when most people go. Most people come to the gym because they want to lose weight. They want to do this. Our approach was to go partner with doctors and physical therapists and get them either prehab or rehab. You're coming to us after your surgeries, after you've gone through physical therapy. And that's how we built our business.
Is that because of your injuries? Is because you had suffered so much and you had been, which by the way, I mean, look, the great story for you is the fact that, you didn't let all that stop you. Right, so many people will get an injury, and it's sort of the end of their career, or it's the end of their, athletic career, or it's, it just is sort of, it's an excuse. It becomes a very easy excuse, doesn't it, to not doing things. But you're sort of, not be active, right? Yeah, for sure.
That's our whole approach, is how do we get people that have been injured or just are scared and get them back into working out again. So that's our approach with Lit.
Exactly. We have consumer products and we have digital memberships, and that's really what we focus on. We're really niche, and we just want to stay true to our vision.
So, you meet in the gym, you go for a run. You know, you set up, you start working together. I'm just kind of piecing this together, but having done a little bit of research on you, again, which one of you, and again, I normally only have one person I'm dealing with, but the two of you, one of you was homeless at one point.
That would be me.
Of course it would.
Yeah.
How could she be homeless? That'd be ridiculous.
I know, right? At 16 years old, I was homeless, sleeping in my car. My first job ever was at a gym. I was doing the bathrooms, working my way through. Bedford job gave me a job. Was sleeping in my car, showering at the gym. I was going there at 5 a.m., staying till 10 o'clock at night. I said, you give me an opportunity, I will show you what hard work truly looks like. I will work my way all the way up this gym.
So you weren't a trainer at all. You just had nowhere to live.
Yeah, and the gym.
That's basically what happened, isn't it? You had nowhere to live. You were showering in the gym, and you somehow became a gym rat as a result. I love it.
Exactly.
That's exactly how it happened. I got certified, became a personal trainer, worked my way up, was the busiest personal trainer there. Got promoted to fitness director, ran every single trainer, grew that business up pretty well. Got featured on the Dr. Phil show, the Dr. Oz show for my unique training style. Won the weight loss competition there and built up a business in Los Angeles. I was waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and going back and forth. I basically wasn't sleeping for a few years, and then made the jump, made the move
to LA.
Met T.
Look at you. When you heard that story, you were like, okay, you're the one for me, you know, formerly homeless. Now you're here. And let's go on a run together. We hide that story from you. Or you were like, no, actually, I love that because of your determination.
I usually don't. She knows I don't usually tell anyone that story. I keep it close to my chest. I don't think she knew for
a long time. But he had an extreme hustle about him, so he had very hard work.
Honey, you need to do research like me. I mean, look, I've only just met you guys. I know all about your shit. What are you talking about? It's like I loved it. It took her years to find out. Everyone, you with me on this? Yes, I know you are. So we get. I don't mess around. I have my research analysts out there for my guests. I'm like, I want to know all the skinny and all the dirt on what's going on here. Well, it's funny, you know, because Kirk Myers, who's the owner of Dog Pound, which is, you know, I mentioned the gym I'm an owner of and one of the founders of. He also was homeless.
What is that?
And for years, actually, and living on couches and what have you, as well as being obese. He was over 300 pounds in weight. And, you know, it was through fitness that he found himself and it helped center himself. And you know, it sounds to me like, certainly with your life, Justin, you know, you were going through a lot. Right? You were homeless, you were injured multiple times, you know, crazy injuries too, not just, you know, and ones that leave scars so that they remind you of themselves every time you look down. It's not like it's gone, you know, so that's a serious thing. Did you find through fitness that it helped you mentally too? Because there's a lot of mental anguish out there. And I often talk to people about, for me, who's someone who's high energy, you know, I don't drink any coffee. I don't need anything to pick me up because I've got more energy than I can ever deal with. But I find that working out brings me to a calm place and settles me. You know, is that for you? Is that what it's been as well?
Fitness saved my life. Fitness has saved my life, and I want to make sure we help as many people as possible through fitness. There's a saying in every class that I teach, you know, we don't have to teach anymore, but it's something that I'm so passionate about. I can never walk away from it. It just gives me the ultimate high in life. And it's not about how you look. It's about how you feel. And I know that can be said in many different ways, but for us, it's just, I really want to focus on the mental toughness and strength, because at the end of the day, there's going to be moments in your life when you are knocked down, when you feel like you can't get back up. And I always say, you never know what someone's going through. So try to be kind, because you just never know. And through fitness, that has saved my life. So yeah, I try to make sure I relay that message as much as possible. How
did you decide to create this machine? I mean, you got your rowing, you've got your reformer, there's a lot of machines out there, right? It's not as if this is not a crowded space. Yeah, there are, especially even in the rowing machine space, that, you know, I started as a kid, as most people did, probably on the C2s, you know, the classic rowing machine you see in every gym around the world, you know, and I now own a hydro rowing machine, and it's great. And you mentioned to me that, you know, it can be boring. Rowing can be boring. Clearly, rowing is really boring, especially on a C2, right? C2 is deathly boring, except for the fact that you are you know, it's a great workout because it's both legs, arms, you know, back, stomach, you know, it's core, it's all things at once in many ways if you do it right. But it's also a really easy exercise to screw up, especially if you're big. I think for a lot of people with their form and is really poor, and you see people pulling their back and what have you. But you guys, what did you think? What was your thing of like, let's, you know, the first step of I want to do this? Was it because you just didn't have enough money and you were like, oh, the rowing machine, I can turn it into 5 things? Because I saw you doing basically dumbbell presses with the rowing machine handle, and I'm like, all right, that looks silly, but I guess I can do that too.
So we obviously opened up a group fitness studio in 2016. We walked away from our personal training business, and that was generating, you know, 6 figures a month for both of us. Very successful. I was training some really high executives, the Prince of Saudi Arabia, like a lot of great things were happening in that market. And our thing is always, if we're going to go in on something, we go all the way in. We have a vision and we go towards it. So we walked away from that business, opened up the group fitness studio, and we found instant success. We were slammed, and this was 100% bootstrapped, maxed out credit cards. The studio bathroom was in the middle of the space.
I mean, we built it ourselves. We did so much of it ourselves.
Yeah, we literally built it ourselves.
Next time you build something, don't put the bathroom in the middle of the room. Just saying.
Oh,
anyway.
Well, it was 1,000 square feet. It was super small. We were like 25 years old, and we did this whole group fitness studio. We expanded a year and a half later because we outgrew it to 5,000 square feet, which is now like literally maybe 2 blocks away from the dog pound in LA. And we
were seeing like 8,000 people a month.
Yeah.
And we were waitlisted and things were going great. And we looked at each other. I'm like, okay, let's expand. Let's go open up a ton of retail locations. And Taylor, with her design skills, and she's already had products in the past, she said, we're going to do a product because products can scale very fast and we can help as many people as possible. You talk about helping people. She's like, do you truly want to help people? And I said, of course. Like, well, we're scaling and we're doing a product.
And I saw a problem. We were using everybody else's equipment and it was all breaking down. And if we could see only 8,000 people and this equipment was breaking down, then we needed to create something better. So I saw what ClassPass was doing in the market, and we saw what Peloton was doing in the market. And this was like in 2018. So we created the Strength Machine because we wanted to basically have a small footprint of a product, but that could do so much because people do get bored, and we want to make sure that we give them options. So yes, it does so much, but it's all low impact. So it's all under the umbrella of LIT, but it's different modalities. So you don't get bored, and it can serve multiple people because my interests are different than his as well as yours. So we wanted to serve a mass amount of people, but do it differently. So that's where we came up with the LIT Strength Machine. And we just got very lucky with timing.
What did the prototypes look like?
Oh, we were just messing around with a bunch of stuff. Even when we started the group fitness studio, we were tying bands up to our doors and doing all kinds of using the old water rowers. We were doing so many things, trying and testing things. But really the resistance bands are what we really love. And what
we're known for. We're known for like doing crazy things with resistance bands and, you know, giving a great workout that way.
Next time you're in LA, I know you saw the Instagram and what you have to come in and experience it.
I will. Have you guys been to Dog Pound?
We have not been to Dog Pound, no. But we don't lift any weight. What are we going to do
there? we have plenty of bands. We've got a boxing gym. I see that there should be some little, you know, I don't know, we can play in each other's backyards a little bit. You know, you can come to Dog Pound and we'll come to Lit Method, and we'll see. We'll see, you know, a bit like you know, I don't know, we'll kind of rival each other. We'll have to do like a little dance as we see each other as we cross the street, you know. I can see it on a West Side Story, you know what I mean? Like boom, boom, boom. Fantastic. No, so I mean, look, it's all very interesting, but you create this thing. It's not an easy market, as I said in the first place, and it's not cheap to get these things going on. But you get an investor who's interested in your vision, and he's not just any old investor. He's someone who I've even tried to get to invest, and he hasn't. So you beat me on that one. Although I'm going to try again. Jay-Z invested in Lit Method. What was it that he saw in what you were doing specifically that you think that he was I mean, he's a great investor. He's a smart guy. And he's got a great team in Jay Brown and those guys. Just curious as to what how that all went down and what that was like for you.
I think at that point, we launched the Strength Machine in May of 2020. And if you're going to launch a connected fitness product, do it in the middle of a pandemic. We put a Strength Machine in every single state across the nation, expanded to Canada faster than a year. And then we decided to raise outside capital. Marcy Venture Partners was the perfect partner, obviously, with Jay Brown, Jay-Z, Larry Marcus, and they're just fantastic partners. We've also got 5-time MLB All-Star Adrian Gonzalez on the cap table as well, which has played a huge role in the new product we're developing now. But I think for Marcy, it's all about the vision for us, and we stay true to the vision, and we pitched our big vision. What you see right now is a small stepping stone of what we're trying to achieve as a brand.
Everyone thinks of us as a product, and we think of us as a category. We're trying to create a new category with low impact training, not just a product line. So we have the suite of products that are the extension to the brand, but we're seeing ourselves as like the CrossFit. How are we the new innovative CrossFit, and how do we create a category with all of low impact training?
And I think for us, it's like everyone thinks we're chasing Peloton or Hydro. We admire those brands, but we want to be nothing like them. We stay true to our vision. I think going after and telling investors that are looking at that market, if you come and invest in this company, this is what we're trying to achieve. This is our 5-year plan, and this is how we're going to get there, and nothing will stop us. And obviously,
we're very determined.
Obviously, it worked.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things too. It's a tricky market, but it is, and everyone who looked at Peloton was like, oh wow, we've got to invest in Peloton. We've got to invest in Peloton, and then of course, things turned around and things were different. They spent too much money in areas where they perhaps shouldn't have spent as much money, whether it was creating crazy videos and content that was perhaps unnecessary and investing in huge studios and all that kind of stuff. And investors have paid a pricey lesson, I think, in that particular investment. And no doubt that also scares some people away when they're looking at that category. So I understand why you need to differentiate yourself, at least verbally. But for example, Jay-Z, as I was mentioning, he's an impressive character by name, right? So having someone like him on the cap table, as you said, was that something which was important for you to have people like that? Were you surprised that someone like him would be interested? And has that been helpful for you guys?
And Katie, you can say this too, is during that process, we were talking to some very big people, but we ultimately went with them, obviously with Jay Brown and Larry Marcus. Larry is just his tech background and they're so hands-on, and Jay Brown with his partnerships, and we wouldn't be where we are today without them. And they're just the best partners we could have ever asked for. Yeah,
they're a very small fund, but it's just, we really see value in partnerships and what the fund can bring to the table, and they can bring a lot to the table. So it was a no-brainer. When we go and raise capital, I think a lot of entrepreneurs get worried and they don't ask the right question of, what are you going to do for us? At the end of the day, that's a big question to ask, and making sure that you partner with the right people, because there's a lot of capital about people. But that's important.
You mentioned this is one of a beginning of the sort of types of products you're going to make. Is there any hint of what's happening in the future?
Just be on the lookout this year. You're going to see something that's going to really
we'll send it to you.
Accelerate the brand in multiple ways, and something that we have personally been working on for over a year. And a big part of the reason that Jay-Z and his team got behind us, because our overall vision is so much bigger than one product and one machine in this specific market. So we're very excited for it.
What do people need in order to get involved? I mean, how do people order the machine? What is the process?
So we're direct to consumer. You can also find us on Best Buy. They usually just purchase us on our website, but we have different retailers we are partnering with in the coming months.
And for us, we have 3 core packages. You have your basic strength machine that will give you the Rower Reformer Strength Trainer. You've got the strength kit for people that are looking to build strength and really hone in on that. And then you have the overall performance kit, which is our #1 bestseller. It gives you everything you need to complete every single class category in the highest performing package.
Look at you two. You're like this little perfect little power couple that I said at the beginning, and you finish each other's sentences. You've got it going on. It's quite impressive. I got to say, I do love it. I'm listening to the two of you talk and watching the whole dynamics between the two of you. Who really is in control here?
I'm telling you right now, she's really quiet, but Taylor is she's just a beast.
I'm the slower talker.
she is very quiet, but very strategic. And if we had it my way, just so you know, we probably wouldn't be anywhere near where we are.
We'd have
today.
a bunch of gyms or something.
We'd have a bunch of gyms, just like personal trainers. And that's what I wanted to do. I love that. And that's not what she wanted to do, and she won, and thank God she did.
You know, brilliant. Have you always had this entrepreneurial mind?
I mean, I think we both have. We both have started businesses and at a very young age, but I've loved to create products specifically. I love products and designing products. So I got him into that world, and now ever since we launched the Strength Machine, it's really opened him up to how to build a product.
And then also what products do. And at the end of the day, if you're building something that helps people, that's what it's really all about. And so I focus on the function of what I want it to do and how I want it to work, what I want people to feel when they're using it, pre, post, and she brings it to life. If I had it my way, I'd make it orange and green, and she's just the complete opposite. She's like, not a chance.
Not a chance. How do you guys do your research into what's the best thing to do? I mean, obviously you're in the world of it, but you know, the fitness categories, you know, and one of the things I find fascinating about fitness is that there are so many different ways to do it, right? There's sort of, you know, from dance to rowing to sport itself to lifting in various different ways to, you know, then you look at every country, every culture, and various forms of fitness and sporting activities are, you know, thousands of years old in certain places with a lot of tradition, to brand new things that are being created, like what you're sort of doing now, creating new categories. What is your research, and what do you try and look for, and how do you know whether something's really the best?
So I can touch off what Taylor always says to me and the entire team at LIT is never look at your competitors. Never look at them. Don't even look at what they're doing, because you truly can't innovate. If you're looking at another company or another product, how can you truly innovate the space? And so that's one thing we stay true at. We never look at competitors. And for us, what's sticky is if it works for us, people that are fitness enthusiasts that love to work out, to feel good, the mental strength, the benefits, if it works on us, it's going to work for others with the right branding and messaging.
I think we also have an emphasis on not physical therapy, but a tinge of physical therapy. We've taken a lot of the different methods from that and brought it into a generalized setting. So that's what expands in the rowing machine.
And made it cool.
Because low impact doesn't mean low intensity. So the branding is very intense and it's a vibe, because we want to make sure that you understand that. Make sure it's lit.
Again, well, make sure it's lit. And where did the name come from? I mean, you just said it then. Make sure it's lit. What is it? Is it? I don't know. Initials, or is it?
It's an acronym for low impact training.
So we got LIT before LIT was an actual thing. That's how we were able to trademark it and do all of our things before it was even a hit. So.
LIT was lit before LIT. Yeah.
That was brilliant. I mean, that in itself is probably worthy of Jay-Z investing, if nothing else. Unbelievable. Look, I'm curious too. Just one on the fitness aspect of things. You do work with a lot of doctors. You mentioned sort of Dr. Oz at the beginning as well, as Dr. Phil, various other people. But you know, do you? And you mentioned just now the physio aspect of it. How important is that for you to encompass those elements in your sort of the general ethos of the business?
It's very important to us. And I think for our next product, people will see how important it is to us. We want to lean heavily into that. And I think that for that specific category, we want to show the world what we can really do.
Look at him in our next product that I'm not telling you about, that you have to wait and see.
We're like.
But hey, I can tell you one thing. I'm going to personally send you one before it launches, so we can have another fireside chat.
I think your wife will love it too.
I think everyone's going to love it.
Wow. Okay. Sounds like something, I don't know. Is it battery operated? What is it? Oh, look at the naughty giggles as well. My goodness. That was.
Hey, now you're in the right world. No,
I know she's having a drink as well. See, that just made it. It's not hard on the Shaken and Stirred show. We like to mix things up over here. Look, before I let you guys go, and I think it's fascinating, your story and everything that you've done. We have something called Last Orders, which get to learn a little bit more about you guys. And I think that we can have some fun here because there's the two of you, and I already see that you're as similar as you are. You're also quite different. So I'm curious to know where these answers leave us. Let's start with this one. If you could drink any cocktail from any movie or television show with any character or star from that show, what would the show be? Who would the character be? And what would the drink be?
Oh, shit.
That's your question.
No, you
Once
go
you
first.
figure it.
Okay. What would I? Obviously, mine would be a martini of some sort. Could I bring it back to the James Bond martini kind of vibe scene right there? That would be nice with me. That would be great on like one of the cars. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'm not good with this one. Do I have to answer this one?
Yes.
Yeah. He nailed it right there. How hard is it? I'd like to have a martini with James Bond. That being said, if it was me, it would be with one of the Bond girls. But anyway, he wants to sit on the car with James Bond. That's fine.
I'd like to have a Greyhound with Austin Powers.
Oh, shit. There we go. See?
See, I you guys for a live. You thought I was going to say something else.
That works for me. From James Bond to Austin Powers. There you have it, people. This would be an interesting one. Who would you have play you in the movie of your life?
I would have to go.
I know who I'd have play you.
Him? Who looks like him? Joe Jonas.
You.
I was gonna say Shay Mitchell, not just because she looks like me, but let me see. Okay, let me think about this.
Well, I guess you guys already answered mine. Shit. Okay.
No, come on, Joe. Come on, Joe. Give us another one.
Go, Joe.
Me? I mean,
be more appropriately height next to your wife, at least. He's like 5'8" or something.
Hey, she loves him. Maybe that's why she went after me so quickly. What about Leo? He's so good. He's great. Good. Leo's the best.
Leo's good.
Leo DiCaprio?
Yeah.
Definitely Joe Jonas. Anyway, go on.
Who would I have play? Oh my goodness. I don't know. I love Shay Mitchell, but she's not really a huge actress. Let me see.
Okay, it could be whoever you want.
No, let's go with Shay Mitchell. I love her.
Perfect. That works very well. And actually, before we move on, what's your backgrounds for both of you?
Our mix. I'm ethnicity, Japanese and French Canadian, and he's like a hybrid.
I'm Native American. I'm like a whole
Hispanic,
mix.
Native American. We're just like,
That sounds like he's confused, but I love what you're talking about. You know exactly what you are. I like. Which, by the way, my wife is Chinese, Irish, Russian, German.
She's Hapa.
So you guys look very similar. You have a very similar vibe of look. I don't look anything like Joe Jonas, but I do know the Jonas Brothers quite well. So that's about as close as it gets. But I'll take that for both answers. Here you go. Fantasy dinner party. You can have 3 guests, dead or alive. Who would they be?
Chip and Joanna Gaines. I love them. Because I want to be like them in the fitness industry. Who's my third? You can go while I think of it.
It doesn't really count as 2.
It's 2 people.
I mean, technically, but they're like 1. Okay. Dead or alive for my dinner party? Ooh, mine's a little weird. Mine's different. I would bring mine's weird.
Whitney Hurd from Bumble and Sarah Blakely from Spank. So there's 4 for me.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm going to throw one off, not because he's an investor, but because we absolutely love him. Jay-Z, Beyonce, because we manifest, and that is one day going to happen for sure. So Jay-Z, Beyonce, and then the third one would have to be, I just love him. Obama, he's got so much swag. I love him. He's great.
It's not really a fantasy dinner party when he's an investor in your company. That's not.
Can I tell you? That's what we want.
It's manifesting.
It's manifesting.
I'm going to say that's going to happen. That's going to happen. So there you go. Anyway, I love it. That all works. Go-to drinking song. Now, you guys, music must play a large part in your business. I imagine you're playing great music all the time. But when you pour yourself a drink at the end of the day, you mix one of your tequilas with soda. Do you put on some music? Is there some hey, let's just chill out music?
You can tell them mine. You go first.
We listen to the 90s a lot. We have a lot. We're a hip hop studio, so we play a lot of hip hop. So we listen to the 90s to just offset it. What's our drinking song?
I don't know. I like. I'm really into this song right now. Before
it's like so random. It's like it's like Four Non-Blondes. Do you know what that song is?
Like all crazy, all blasted super loud and get super pumped up. It's weird.
That's the one song that's happening right now in this office. But yeah.
Yeah, in our office.
So what's the song called?
What is it? Four Non-Blondes. I forgot the name of the song.
Angela, I can't let you down like
or
this.
Otherwise, it's Blinding Lights from The Weeknd, because I love The Weeknd.
Yeah, that one's good. I'll tell you right now because I have to let you know exactly what it is because you can try it tonight.
Oh, what's up? What's going on? That's what it's called.
I heard it one time. I had no idea what it was, and she was like, "No, you know this song." I'm like, "I don't."
Sing it to me.
Oh,
do not ask him to.
He's
not Joe Jonas.
He looks like Joe Jonas. If I ask Joe Jonas, he'd be like,
"He's a more."
Wow. I'm just going to say, can every interview be like this? Because this was fantastic.
I've got one more question for you, and then you're done.
Gosh, okay.
So it should be an easy one. Shaken or stirred?
Shaken.
Shaken.
Both shaking. There you go. I thought one would be a shaken and one would be a stirred. But hey, that's why they got married, folks. Everybody, thank you so much, guys. You were absolutely fabulous. Congratulations on the Lip Method. I look forward to your next product, Justin and Taylor Norris. What an incredible story. Really well done with everything you've done. And I'm going to look out for one of these Lip Method machines in my area. I want to get on it and try it and reform myself, as well as everything else. And guys, where can they catch you? It's Lip Method on Instagram, but what's the best way for people to check out your studios and to get some of this stuff?
Lipmethod.com is definitely going to be the best way on the website. And then obviously Instagram, Lip Method, we share an Instagram for the personal. So Justin and Taylor.
Yeah, we do that.
Wow. I'm telling you, you've never met anyone like us before. You'll see us.
We certainly do. Everybody out there, have a wonderful weekend and cheers.
Bye.
Thank you.
This podcast was produced and edited by Embassy Road.